You know that feeling when you're a bit stuck? Or maybe just unsure about what's next? Well, if that sounds familiar, this one's for you. We're going to break down three surprisingly simple questions that are designed to bring some serious clarity to your life. So, have you ever heard this phrase, unfinished business? It really gets you thinking, right? It actually comes from a story Mel Robbins tells about a friend of hers. This guy, he's 56, super successful career, but he realizes he has unfinished business with himself. See, he'd always loved music, and he just knew deep down it was finally time to put that front and center in his life. And hey, that feeling, it's not just for people in their 50s. Whether you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, that little voice in the back of your head telling you there's something more out there for you, that's totally normal. Today, we're going to figure out how to actually listen to it. But here's the really cool part. There's a proven method to help you get that kind of breakthrough. This isn't just some random idea. It comes from a wildly popular course at Stanford University called Designing Your Life, taught by professors Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. They call this whole process the Odyssey Plan, and it all kicks off with three key questions. All right, you ready? Let's dive into the very first question. This one is all about taking a good, hard, realistic look at where you're headed if nothing changes. Okay, I want you to pause for a second and really think about this. If absolutely nothing changes, your job, your habits, your relationships, the stuff you do every single day, where will you be in 5 years? Now, the key here isn't to start dreaming up some fantasy life. Nope. The Stanford professors actually designed this question to force a moment of brutal honesty. If you stay on the exact road you're on right now, do you like the destination? For a lot of us, that honest answer is a huge wake-up call. You know, it totally reminds me of that amazing quote from James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. He says, "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become." This first question basically forces you to look at your ballot and ask, is this who I really want to vote for? Okay, moving on to question number 2. And I gotta say, I love the name for this one, the rug pull, because that's exactly what it's designed to do, shake things up. So imagine this. What if the path you're on right now just, poof, disappeared tomorrow? Your job is gone, your main project is over, your whole routine is just thrown out the window. What would you do next? I know, that sounds a little intense, right? But stick with me because its purpose is actually to free your mind. See, here's the thing. Most of us, we only think about a plan B when we're forced to. You know, after the layoff, after the breakup, after everything falls apart. But by then, you're operating out of fear and panic. This question lets you brainstorm your options from a place of strength and creativity, not desperation. And this really gets to the heart of it. When you're reacting to a crisis, your brain just goes into lockdown mode. It's fear, it's self-doubt, you feel shut down. But when you do it proactively, whoa, it's a completely different game. It's all about problem solving, creativity, and suddenly seeing all these other options you didn't even know you had. All right, on to the third and final question. And honestly, this one is my absolute favorite because this is where we get to let loose and really dream. So I want you to really go there with me for a second. Imagine money is completely off the table. You don't care one bit what other people think, and that fear of failure is just gone. What would you do then? I mean, seriously, think about it. When was the last time you let yourself just dream, without all the buts and the what ifs? You know, like when you were a kid, and you could be an astronaut and a rock star all in the same day? This question is all about reconnecting with that part of you, the part that knows what it really, truly wants, underneath all the noise. And you know what's cool? This isn't just fluffy, feel-good stuff. There's actual science behind it. Research from Knox College found that people who focus on their inner values, things like personal growth, community, connection, they report way higher life satisfaction than people chasing external stuff like money or status. This question helps you find your intrinsic values. Okay, so you've gone through the 3 questions, you've looked at your current path, you've thought about the rug pull, and you've dreamed with no limits. So, what happens now? Let's turn all those amazing insights into actual action. Because the whole point of this Odyssey plan isn't just to think deep thoughts, right? It's about actually creating some real change. And the way to do that is surprisingly simple and totally manageable. The way they teach you to do this at Stanford is with a concept they call prototyping. And trust me, this idea is a total game changer. Instead of taking some massive, terrifying leap of faith, you just run little, low-stakes experiments to test out your ideas and see how they feel in the real world. And it's so simple. It's just 3 little steps. First, you look back at all your answers and you just pick one idea that sparked something in you, something that feels exciting. Second, you create a tiny, low-risk experiment to explore it. And third, this is the most important part, you gather the data. And I don't mean numbers, I mean feelings. Does this thing energize you or does it kind of drain you?
Let's make this real with a few examples so you can see just how easy this is. Let's say your big idea is, I want to own a bakery. Okay, don't quit your job and write a business plan. Go work 2 shifts at a local bakery and see if you actually like getting up at 4 a.m. Or maybe you think, I want to move to a new city. Before you call the movers, spend an hour on Google Street View just walking around the neighborhoods. Want to be more creative? Just watch one free painting tutorial on YouTube. It's all about gathering information, not making a huge commitment.
And really, that's the whole magic of it. You don't need a grand 10-year plan all mapped out. Life isn't about executing one perfect plan. It's about designing your life, one small, interesting experiment at a time, and letting those experiments guide you. So remember, your answers to these 3 big questions, they're not a final destination. Think of them more like a treasure map of possibilities. All you have to do is pick one direction and design one tiny prototype to get started. So what's it going to be? What's one small experiment you can start today?